thing. Anyway, AMA question.
My question is, if Woody was to get seriously injured or die, possibly in a horrible tractor accident, would Kyle take on Woody's role as main PKA host, or would PKA cease to be, and if Kyle was to continue with the show, who would be the third host? I think, heaven forbid, if such a thing were to happen, we would need someone to take over tech, but I don't think that guy would necessarily be the other host or person to be part of the show. There would just be a guy who handled the tech somehow, however that would work out. There'd just be one guy who's
one of the main figures.
Like you could potentially replace me with Chiz and Wings.
With two, yeah, it would take two people to replace Wings. Is what I'm really, Woody is what I'm getting at. You need one guy to take on the technical things that he does, recording the show, doing and making sure the overlay is placed in place and that everything is right. And he's the one who takes the final look and the only look really at the finished product before it goes live. So yeah, you need a tech guy to handle all that, and then you need a Wings of Redemption or another person to fill in. I don't know who that person would be. I don't know how me, Taylor, and Wings would flow, really. God, it would just be who would slow that retarded train down?
No, that would just be a cyclone of nonsense.
Yeah. Like you would, I would be like, oh yeah, tell me more, and you would be like, what if it was even crazier? And Wings would be like, oh, it gets even crazier. Yeah. Then she started licking it. And it would just keep going, and so you almost need a voice of reason somewhere to be like,
you need someone.
No, don't say that.
And make the turns. When we're talking about belly button fucking, and hour 3 is winding down. You need someone to come in and say, hey, did you hear about this? Let's fucking get you in this direction now. Hurt him, because you do need someone like that on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know anybody who would fit.
I think
you would know more than me.
I would like to be more diverse with it. I think the next time around, I'd like to find maybe a black host or a gay host or maybe a black gay host.
I have a hood pass, and I'm like 300% gay. I feel like I'm coming really close here,
and that's why I want to replace you with a gay black guy. It's the only way. It's the only way to make it happen. A gay black like hockey star or something. I don't know.
Ooh,
a gay black swimmer.
So many to choose from.
The rarest of unicorns. The gay black swimmer. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it would be, but we would definitely go on because I really enjoy this. We'd probably bring Chiz would probably be the tech guy, if I'm being honest, and I feel like he would be like in kind of like a Ed McMahon role, kind of. I think I would like that anyway if that was the format of our show. If
he'd be like that fat guy on Conan who kind of chimes in every so often.
See, better though. So here's the difference between what Andy Richter does for Conan and what Ed McMahon did back in the day for Johnny Carson. Johnny would not let Ed McMahon shine. He didn't get any funny jokes. He just kind of pumped up Johnny. But with the Conan thing, that guy's actually funny. He's really funny, and Conan lets him go as far as he wants to go. They've tried to get rid of him on multiple occasions, and Conan always stood by him. I think he's very funny. He's really talented. But
yeah, he is. But that's what we would want.
Yeah,
someone like that.
Another option. I watch the Joe Rogan podcast sometimes, and I watched one recently where Brian Callahan said that, I forget who it was, but X Fighter was on penicillin at the time for staph infection or antibiotics, and I didn't know this, but everyone says antibiotics completely drain your energy. I don't think I've ever trained on antibiotics or something, but
I didn't know that.
But in the MMA world right now, like Luke Rockhold was on antibiotics, he had this issue, and then other people haven't. It's just like everyone agrees that antibiotics completely sap your energy. Okay, so Brian Callahan says this guy was on antibiotics during that fight, and they're like, oh, James, would you look that up? And then within 20 seconds or so, they confirm the accuracy of a statement. And I feel like that would be a neat little addition to the show. If we had a guy where it was like, can you find a picture of this? Can you find a video of that? I'd do some of that, but it also takes me out of the show.
That's a rabbit hole that's risky to include on the show, though, because before you know it, it's going to come up every 2 seconds where, I'm telling a story of oh yeah, my uncle, he went to fucking Africa on a safari and he saw lions and tigers and bears, and someone will be there aren't tigers in Africa, is there? Does anybody know if there's tigers? Someone check that. No, it turns out no tigers. There is a small puma. There's some pumas in Africa. Did you know about that though? Oh wow, I don't know what a puma is. I thought it was just a brand of shoes, and then just some stupid thing that we go off into the weeds because we have the internet. But
Yeah,
that would be nice to have someone like that. But can you imagine how much it would solidify everybody as hating Chiz if just 1 week we come back and we're like, hey, Woody has passed away, unfortunately. We got Chiz here, though.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. And really, what I feel like Chiz could add to what we do every week I feel like, so when I look at the Stern Show and how that goes down, there's a lot of people. I think Chiz should be in like a Gary Delabate role, where he's not on camera, he's not on mic, his mic's turned off, it's muted. But if there's a fact-checking thing that comes up, or if Chiz himself is referenced, if we have a thing, where you're like, you brought up Chiz earlier and talked
what was
about
I
him in some
saying
regard.
about him?
Something.
That he believes in conspiracy. That I stand by that.
Then all of a sudden, you turn that microphone on. You have a little conspiracy talk with Chiz, and he turns it back off, and he continues to research Reddit and the internet for little topics that he can shift over to us, like he's doing right now, anyway.
That would be pretty awesome.
Do we want a conspiratard to be our designated researcher?
Isn't it better that way?
Yeah, that's PKA perfect.
Fitting?
I found something on 911truthforreal.net. Oh, the truth about W. Bush. .biz. Let's check this out.
But I like that aspect, and I like the aspect. The two of the things that I like about that show that they do, and many shows, I suppose, is that the guest is kind of in, does his thing, you get what you're going to get out of him, and then he's out, because sometimes it's hard to include the guest for 4 hours, to do a full show with the guest, especially if their thing is really, I don't know, specific, or if we don't know them very well, which I think we've all done a better job over the last month or 2 months of getting to know our guest after we had that old guy that frankly I just didn't know who he was, and all that stuff.
I did a little research in advance. I had some questions about his trip to Alaska. And...
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. I did none for that guy. That one was a surprise for me. But in any case, yeah, I kind of like that. I like a guy in the background who's not part of the conversation, and then maybe three times throughout the course of a show, he'd chime in with something really relevant and really pick his moment to put something in there. I think he could shine in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would your first go-to be Wings to bring in?
Yeah. I think it would have to be. I think it would just have to be. I feel like if Woody did in fact pass away or have his larynx removed or whatever the case maybe that requires him to leave the show, the fans would be screaming for Wings. It wouldn't, that's what they would want. They would want someone familiar, not just somebody out of left field or go getting some.
Just to be contrarian, because I think Wings would be a good pick too. There's probably other people that they would like. Heck, I think they might have screamed for Wings when we picked Taylor. And, just to replace Lefty. And now that we're, I don't even know, 100 episodes in with Taylor, they really agree with our choice.
I would probably run it past people like Richard Ryan, who I'm pretty close with. And then he knows he's got such a huge network of people that he knows that he if he wasn't interested, he's really tight with everybody from Jenna Marbles to Philip DeFranco and all those people. Really, he knows them personally. So he would be a good person to be like, hey, we have a position open. It pays this much. Here's what it would require, and maybe he could help find someone from that pool of persons. But to answer your question,
sometimes the best person, and Wings qualifies for this, but the best person would be someone who's not crazy successful right now, right? Because let's say hypothetically Jenna Marbles wanted to do it. Great. Except that every other show she's traveling to Ireland or Zimbabwe or something greeting fans, so she's going to miss a lot. If you grab someone like Stone Mountain 64 or who's the guy who was athletic and a big fan of the show? Everybody loves him. I think he advertised with us.
The one who lost all the weight, right? Oh, no.
No, you're thinking of Jay 2 Cents. No, this guy.
Rock On?
Yes, yeah. Rock On M1M.
1M1.
1M1. Someone like him might value the show more than Philly D is excellent. I love Philly D. I think he's great on the show. But he's got so much cooking that it might be his lowest priority.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to go with Wings. Just like the Sunny Crew, I don't know if we have the deepest bench.
I think we do. We could make something happen.
I think I might get murdered at the end of this. They're going to be like, really? We get Philly D?
Yeah.
Fuck Woody. Let's go.
Yeah, but Chiz comes along with that, so
Poor Chiz.
Catch 22. Yeah.
I like Chiz, but the fans are just real.
Yeah, and I think he does well
I
on the
think
show.
That's fading
He's
away.
polarizing.
I have
That's the
noticed
thing
it
about Chiz. Chiz is polarizing. It's not that because you always see these threads. Oh, make this guy a permanent member of the show. Make this guy a permanent part of the show. And I feel like Chiz has contributed more and been funnier more often than many people. I don't know. It's just my opinion,
The
though.
Renaissance man.